which I'm having at the moment.
All right. All right. Since we have a quorum, I'm going to call us to order. The agenda for tonight tends to be a long one, so I'm not going to waste too much time. Um, the just for some procedural stuff, to save us some time, when we get to the point where are making motions, I'm going to ask Tom to make the motions and Angela to second them so that we don't have just dead mic time. Um, and then again, taking a page out of Jim, our town moderator's book, I'm going to have us go through the consent calendar and see if any of us want to hold any of them for further discussion. If that's the case, just make it known, and we'll ask Denise for some clarifications and questions, because then I would love to take the entire consent calendar as a single vote. Before moving on to the always more exciting capital items and special articles. Sound good to everyone?
May I ask, how do you will be handling the budget? Are you doing the budget the same way? Because you have to vote on that as well.
Um, I think I think that I think that makes the most sense. I mean, we've had 4 nights of looking at the budget. Um, so I hope at this point, everyone's had a chance to really dig deep and ask any of their questions. Um, so let me pull up. Actually, Denise, would you mind sharing the warrant from your end? Actually, do you want me to do it since you're having computer issues?
No, I can do it. Sorry. Okay, I think.
And I do see we have one member of the public with us tonight. Well, two if you encounter our wonderful time moderator.
Okay, so let me get to the page to start, and then I will share it. Okay. Okay. I assume everyone can see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Slightly small, but yes.
Um,
If you could zoom in a little bit, that'd be helpful. Yeah, that's better.
Great. Great.
Thank
okay.
you.
You're welcome. So do you want me to just drive from here, Brian? How do you want to do this?
Yeah, let's just go straight from the top. Why don't you lead the way a little bit? We'll just go item by item, and then if anyone wants to call for questions to question Denise about anything about the articles in the consent calendar, we'll go from there. Um, so I think when we did this last year, we skipped over Article 4 because that's the actual budget before the consent calendar, right?
Yes, it is.
All right. So why don't we circle back to the budget after we handle the consent calendar?
Okay. So Articles 1 and 2 are your standard articles. And then I'm sorry, are you waiting and making all of your votes at the end, or will you be voting as we go through sort of the non-consent calendar articles, just so I know?
We'll do them in course
So as we go through?
as we go through, yeah.
Okay. So Articles 1 and 2 are the standard accepting the reports of the uh, town report. I actually don't think you make recommendations on those two because they are required. Article 3 is the wage and salary schedule for the non-union employees. Last year at the special town meeting in the fall, I provided a revised classification to reallocate non-union employees better with the pay scale for where um, folks that have been static for a long time are under the median salary range. So this incorporates those changes and incorporates a 2% cost of living. The schedules that were put before town meeting in the fall had no change of dollar amount. It was just reclassifying the steps. This one adds a 2% cost of living. Do you want me to pause on this one? This
Um,
is this is Article 3.
this is Article 3. Any questions from the committee or from the public with us tonight? All right, seeing none, let's move on. Um, can I get a motion, please, on Article 3?
May I, before you make a motion, so the motion should be if you plan to recommend favorable action, that's what the motion would be,
And
to
we've already
recommend
had
favorable action.
legal go over this, right?
Yep.
All right,
Yeah, this
cool.
incorporates everything, including the select board recommendations and all town council's changes.
Wonderful.
I rec, I'm sorry. I move we vote favorable action on Article 3 of the 2027 town warrant. Or should I phrase that differently?
But
Yes, I would not, just because it's the 2026 year, but fiscal 27, I would just eliminate the year and just say Article 3.
I I move we recommend favorable action for Article 3.
Seconded.
all right, motion and a second. Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Excellent.
Then we're gonna skip the budget and come back
Yep.
to that.
Yep.
Okay. The consent calendar. So the first article is the revolving fund. This is not an appropriation. This just sets a spending limit of how much we can spend, but we can only spend what we take in. So again, this does not appropriate any funds, just sets the limit. Article 6, the Stowe Cultural Council. This is a standard article with the same amount that we appropriate annually to allow the Cultural Council to make awards for their grants. The Smart 911 Rave Notification System, Article 7, is for the community notification system, or reverse 911, as some call it. $7,000 is the same amount that we've appropriated. There was no change to that. Article 8, weights and measures testing. This is for the state to come in and test the scales, gas pumps, anything that has a measured scale that is regulated through the state. We used to do it in-house. We couldn't find anyone to do it, so now we pay the state, and this is a true number based on their estimate for fiscal 27. Transfer to the conservation fund. So this takes money from the conservation land maintenance account and moves it into the conservation fund. It's just a transfer between conservation accounts. There is no tax impact with this. Article 10, transfer from the Wetlands Protection Fund. This is taking money from the Wetlands Protection and moving it under or allowing the Conservation Commission to spend it. It's a transfer. It's just going from one account to another with no impact to the levy. Article 11, though, is it's adding money into the conservation fund. So we have increased the amount that we are covering. We've increased the hours for the land steward. And so the conservation fund is paying more money towards our land stewards. So in turn, they have asked us to contribute a little more towards that, those salaries. So this $8,000 goes into the conservation fund to help pay for conservation related items in their land steward. It's up slightly from the previous year. Article 12, update in property values. This is actually a decrease because we are not in a revaluation year. So $9,000 will have the assessing office hire their appraiser for any changes, building permits, things that need to be evaluated for fiscal 27. Article 13, road maintenance, repairs on private ways and municipal parking lots. This has been a standard article. Last year, we did not fund line items 2 and 3 because we had a buildup of funds in that account. Okay, we are going to proceed. Apologies for all of that. I will have Stowe TV edit that out before we post this meeting online. Okay, now that I'm all beclumped here, let me get back into sharing my screen.
They just got hacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, stupid
Dan?
people being stupid.
Who is Dan that's speaking?
That was me who spoke, Denise.
No, Dan came off of mute, I think, and
It was
spoke.
hard to hear you, Dan, if you were trying to say something.
Oh, it's Dan.
Sorry,
Okay.
Dan, yeah, sorry, folks. Dan,
That's
DPW
okay.
director, just trying to catch up discreetly, but obviously
That's
I don't
fine.
know what happened there,
Okay.
but just want to see the meeting tonight.
No,
So-
all good,
Cool.
but people are trying to join through the waiting room, so I just want to keep an eye on that while I'm sharing. Okay, let's get back into this. Whew.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks.
Not
Okay.
your fault.
Um,
Last year where we left off was last year we didn't vote didn't support 2 and 3 because the account had outstanding balances of a not insignificant amount.
Um, yes. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just because I have the window back up for Zoom so I can monitor that. Okay, yes. So 2 and 3 had additional funds. We had not spent it in a few years due to the turnover in the DPW. But now Dan is back on track with that. So we have put those 2 items back on the warrant so he can keep up with the private ways and the parking lots going forward. DPW engineering fees. So this is $4,000 going in to add to the engineering account. There is a balance of 11,936 in there. This would be used to help secure technical assistance in culvert grant opportunities. And because we don't have a comprehensive inventory of key infrastructure assets, the department will be working with an engineering firm to track some of those items for multi-year plans, paving, and road conditions. So this will go in, add to that to allow them to plan the remainder of this fiscal year and the next fiscal year with the work that they are trying to accomplish. Household hazardous waste collection. This is for the contribution for us to participate in the Devon's Regional Household Hazardous Products Collection Center. This is a good number based on the estimate that they have sent us for fiscal 27. Municipal solid waste article 16, $750. This is for a dumpster that we have. So when trash is dumped around town, DPW can pick it up. When the dumpster is full, they call and come and empty the dumpster. So TV expenses, this funds the public access channel. This is funds that is collected through everyone's Comcast and Xfinity cable bills. It goes into account and then we transfer over what is needed to run the department for the year. So this is a true cost based on their projected expenses for fiscal 27. Holiday decorations and lighting. This is a standard account article with the same amount to fund our holiday decorations. Audited financial records, $30,000. This covers our annual audit as well as our OPEB valuation. So when they do the OPEB review, this covers that as well. Article 20, water system expenses, so $30,000 to cover the public water supplies that the town owns, which is this building in Pompo. This is a decrease from prior years. Dan, who's on our call, is our DPW director, is actually licensed to maintain public water systems. So we have eliminated the company that was doing it. They actually couldn't maintain the new system that we have in this building, so it worked out for the best. So now that we've brought it in-house, this covers a stipend for Dan and expenses to get the water tested and maintain the systems. Select Board Small Purchase Fund. This gets added to the balance that we have. It pays for end of the year expenses, prior year bills that we don't need to go to town meeting with. This is the account that I put on the open meeting law seminar last year with. So this will go in there and allow us to get us through the end of the fiscal year and we're already planning for a conflict of interest or a potential future training to keep boards and committee members up to date on the latest laws regarding ethics. Construction and maintenance of water holes. So $8,000. This is up slightly from prior years. This allows the fire department to construct or maintain the watering holes, the cisterns, and hydrants. There is a balance in the account. They've had some turnover in the department for their, watering hole manager. We do have it assigned now, and they are working on identifying where the more critical areas are to focus on. This money, in addition to the funds that are in the account, will be we'll be focusing on the Gleasondale Mill area as well as Birch Hill Road. So those water supply areas are critical. And so those are the first two that they're going to deal with these funds. Article 23, Lake Boone water quality. This is for a weed control remediation of Lake Boone. The contract that we've had expires, but this is the standard. Sort of, we do a 3-year contract, and in one of the years, usually the third year, it's a higher amount because we do a larger treatment. So the first 2 years are around 15, 16,000, and we expect it to be the same when we go out to bid. The reason there's a balance in this account is because we haven't paid the end of the fiscal year bill yet. Planning Board Engineering, so they are requesting $5,000 to go into their engineering account. This one also has a high balance. The philosophy of the planning department is if they ask for small amounts each year, it can go in and build up their account for things like, let me see what they have planned with this, housing production plan, the comprehensive plan, zoning audits. This helps them do more consistent work that comes before them. And that way they don't have to come before you and ask for large amounts of money, $25,000 for a specific project. They've been doing this with small increments for many years, and it seems to work out. It builds up, they spend it on the upcoming projects, and then they can just continually replenish it at a smaller incremental amount.
Yeah, it's nice to see that, especially since like all of their projects tend to be like large burst spending.
Yes, exactly. And so I did question the $47,000 balance that's in there, and they said that they are aware of that. They do have some projects planned for the end of this fiscal year, but they have quite a bit on their work plan. And again, this just helps so that they're not asking for larger buckets of money every few years. Article 25, the community preservation expense. So this money is a transfer from the community preservation funds that are collected. This pays for the administrative services for the CPC, as well as allows them to do printing or authorize some one-off bills if they come in, their association fees, etc. Article 26 is the article to move their 10% into their allocations, as CPC calls them, their buckets. So this will take $112,000 and move it into each one of their 3 allocations so that they can then vote to appropriate it out on their specific projects. Article 27 is the online budgeting software. This pays for ClearGov, the budgeting portion, the capital portion, and the digital budget book. Traffic safety advisory. So this article is an increase from what's been in the past. The Traffic Safety Advisory Committee is still a fairly new committee. Over the last year, they have entered into a software agreement for their speed signs and their digital bulletin boards. So that is $10,000 a year just to pay for that. And then they have additional funds that they can work on to support projects. They used the last iteration of funds for the old Marlborough Road intersection. It helps if they need to have some engineering consultants on traffic issues in town. So this will go in to help them carry out the initiatives that they have been formed to deal with. Article 29, the MS4 stormwater permits. Again, this is an annual article. We have been behind a bit on our MS4 requirements. Now that Dan's on board, he's getting us back into where we need to be. There's a lot of reporting, a lot of changes. There's a bylaw in this warrant that's required as part of this. We do expect over the next few years this will start to increase because the requirements on communities are rather extensive to deal with MS4 and stormwater. But this will help us get caught up and continue the plan into where we have to really start doing more work, like the comprehensive mapping of all stormwater systems, collecting detailed location and condition data. And so we are gearing up for those types of projects. Legal services, this is actually a decrease from the last few years. We have been doing fairly well with our legal budget. surprisingly, because we've had a number of odd situations that have arisen in the last few months. But it is down. We are only paid through February. We do tend to incur the highest invoices the last end of the fiscal year because of town meeting, with the work they do on the warrant, the articles, the reviews, and attendance. But hopefully we'll continue this trend and be able to keep it at a $50,000 or $60,000 annual appropriation instead of the $125,000 that it's been. Article 31, subscription services. So this is, these were items that we brought on board during sort of COVID with the ARPA and CARES Act funds. It covers things like the work order system that we brought in, the social media archiving, the Zoom licenses, the PR services. And this is, as you can see, there was $243 left from last year. It's the same amount of money that we're requesting to just carry us forward with some of these ongoing costs. Article 32, town events, was previously called the Springfest account. This helps us put funds in an account to support town-sponsored events, community programming, primarily Stowcase now that Springfest hasn't really occurred. We are also using it this year we are having a grand opening of the Randall Woods Park, formerly Stowe Acres North Course, in June. So we will be having some events for families. So we will be using funds for that. Again, just things to get people out and enjoy the town and the events that we can put on. Article 33, veterans benefits. This is up. We actually have not had an appropriation in the last few years because we did not have, we had a new veteran move to town that is getting a significant monthly stipend. And so we are moving some money back in to offset the funds that are already in the account. The state does reimburse us at 75%, but we don't get it right away. It comes after the fact. So we need to front the funds and then we get them back later. Article 34, the National Guard Reserve Tax Relief. This is done every 2 years. It allows the Board of Assessors to grant 100% abatements for real estate and personal property taxes if we have a Guard member or reservist that's deployed overseas. So the board establishes specific criteria, and then every 2 years, town meeting has to re-accept this provision. Article 35, the EDIC funds. So we reestablished the Economic Development and Industrial Commission maybe last year, early 2025. They are doing a great job working to conduct outreach with our businesses, trying to figure out ways to attract new businesses. And they have a plan for some marketing materials, some outreach materials. So they have requested some funds to take care of those initiatives and try and put together, I think they're working on like a prospectus of why come to Stowe, why bring your business to Stowe. So that'll be really great when that's done. And hopefully we'll get funding back from new businesses and people wanting to come here. Article 36 is our transfer to the OPEB trust fund. This is taking free cash and moving it into our OPEB account. If this appropriation happens, we will be at 25% funded with our OPEB account, which is really remarkable given where many cities and towns are. I told the select board last night that I've been in a lot of meetings with colleagues, and this is one of the first things that people are cutting when they can't balance their budget. Instead of laying people off, they're eliminating things like OPEB contributions, stabilization contributions. So the fact that we still have the ability to make those is really great. Transfer to stabilization fund.
1 second, Denise. I just want to make,
Sure.
especially since that one, that is the definition of like robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yes, it is.
Like all you are doing is increasing the interest rate moving forward, meaning that just doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. Yes, no, it's really great. I think it's actually pretty exciting that we'll be funded at 25%. 37 and 38 are our transfers to the stabilization. 37 is to the standard stabilization account, $200,000 into our rainy day fund, and $100,000 into the capital stabilization. I mentioned previously, one of my goals for fiscal 27 is to work with you all to figure out how we want to spend the capital stabilization money, what policy do we want to put around it. Do we want to leave a balance? Do we want to let it grow and pay for one specific item? So I'm going to get some examples, and I thought that's something that we could work on to adopt for next year. So we have some guidelines around how we want that account to function. Article 39 is a new, article that the DOR is recommending we include. They now consider Chapter 90 funds, which is road maintenance, a grant. So they are requiring an article to authorize the select board to enter into the grant. Now, truth be told, if we don't have this on there, we're still going to get our Chapter 90 money, but council felt it was best to just put it on there. It's standard language. There's no financial impact. But they said it was a good practice to have that on there. And that is the conclusion of the consent calendar.
Oh, it was a very exciting consent calendar. Yes, Jim, I see your hand up.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, I'd like to call out for people if there's anything new on the consent calendar. So I know Article 39 is new. Is anything else new? The veterans benefits, I guess. The edict, I thought I remembered the edict from last year, but I think
No, so the EDIC was a few years ago. Same thing with veterans. So they're new in the fact that they are appearing this year and they didn't last year, but they're not new to the consent calendar,
okay,
if that helps.
the 750 for the dumpster, that didn't sound familiar to me, but is that a standard?
That's there every year. Yep.
I just didn't remember that. Okay, I may then call out the edict, Chapter 39, and the veterans benefits, so you might anticipate those getting pulled. Just might call them out.
Yeah.
You.
Would you do the same with the veterans exemption? Because that wasn't on there last year either. That's an every 2-year article.
So not if it's regularly been on there every 2 years, no.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. If it's the select board puts together the consent calendar, not me. If edict is a once every blue moon thing, frankly, I wouldn't put it on the consent calendar. It's supposed to be repetitive stuff.
Yeah, so it wasn't. They were repetitive up until like 2 years ago when they sort of disbanded and then we've reformed them.
Well, okay, so in that sense, it is standard for when we have an edict. There were, then that must be what I'm remembering. Then I am not going to call that one out.
You're not the only one, Jim. I also remember the edict in years past. So
I'm going to call out the acceptance of the Chapter 90 and the veterans benefits because those seem to be. I know we used to have
Well,
veteran benefits on there when we had a veteran, though.
yeah, veterans benefits was only last year I didn't fund it, I think, because we had a balance and nobody in town receiving benefits.
I remember that from when we were paying out. So I'm just going
Yeah,
to.
so that was on there up until 2024. It's just 25 was not included.
Then I am just going to call out Article 39. Okay.
That sounds fine. If you're going to do that, Jim, might I make the recommendation to highlight as you call it out that it is a procedural or legislative article, not a spending article.
I will let townspeople decide whether or not to hold it, and if they do, then Denise can explain what it is.
Sure.
But I just want to, I don't want to give people the impression that this is exactly what's been there in past years when there's something brand new. Although we do occasionally, I remember when OPEB was new, so we do add things to the consent calendar. Obviously, you have to.
Yes, although normally I would add it to the non-consent calendar. Like there are a few that I would expect to be repetitive in the future, and then I move it over on the second year.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
put Chapter 90 because actually council suggested it go in the consent calendar because there's really no impact to it other than the DOR says we should accept it. So
Oh.
that's the only reason they told me to put it in the consent calendar.
Let me think about it. Maybe I'll say something like Article 39 is new at the recommendation of council and see if anybody cares.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Either way.
Thank you, Jim. Ross, I see a hand. Go for it, brother.
Quick question. Article 23, Lake Boone Weed Control. Is Hudson contributing anything towards that?
Yes. We pay 2/3, they pay 1/3.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If we have no other questions, I will happily take a motion on, or I would happily take a recommendation on the consent calendar.
I
Uh,
move
Could I,
we,
could I just weigh in on Article 39?
Absolutely.
So Article 39 is a annual appropriation from the Chapter 90 funding. That really is nothing new. It's just that we're formalizing the process. This is something that the state has been doing for, many, many years. It's really just that we're trying to capture it under, town meeting. But we've been doing this for many, many years.
I do appreciate the use of the language. This article would accept state funds. I think comments like that are super important for bold lines like that.
all right,
Tom,
I move we recommend favorable action on the items contained in the consent calendar.
Seconded.
all right, Ross,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes,
Angela,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. All right, let's loop back to 4, which is the annual budget.
Okay. Can you see my screen? It says it's paused.
I cannot see your screen.
I can.
I can
You
see
can?
it.
I mean,
Okay.
I can see your screen, but it's not moving. I don't know if you were rolling.
Oh, I didn't move it, but it's coming
Yeah.
up that my screen was paused. I just want to make sure you can see before okay. Oh, I can't find where my screen is shared. Okay. Okay, and how would you like this? Do you want to go page by page, item by item? What would you like? Or the total, whatever, however
Let's
you all feel.
does anyone have any line items they want to call out for the further discussion?
I do not.
I do not.
All right. In that case, let's go with the total.
So this 39,167,501 is what I am recommending.
And if I may ask one question, actually, the difference is between the budget request and the budget recommended, is that excess levy capacity?
No, so the difference is, we probably talked about this when we were going through it. A number of departments we had new department heads. They weren't sure on what to request.
That's right.
We were in the middle of contract negotiations with the fire department, so the chief did not include any changes. So it's really not an accurate representation, but because I had to determine their request cut off at a certain point, because of ClearGov, it locked it in with their either zero request or very low request while we worked through their process.
Okay. I remembered that. I just couldn't remember the exact phrasing.
Mhm.
Cool.
And I will articulate that on town meeting floor because I know it's going to be a problem, and I'll make sure it's in the paper too because it's come up in questions.
Cool. Tom, my good man.
All right, I move we recommend favorable action on Article 4.
I second that.
Discussion.
Go ahead, Ross.
All I want to say is I've looked at individual line items. Some are up, I'll say a lot, and some are down. But I think the net budget, when everything's added in and is subtracted out, is reasonable. And therefore, I would support this number.
Wonderful. I mean, I am impressed every year by how efficient we have managed, how lean we managed to run Stowe, and how wonderfully balanced we've been in terms of fixing things and pushing things that can be fixed later down the road. Because if you do one or the other, you ruin yourself. We have a motion. We had a second. We are at voting. Tom,
Yes,
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Excellent. Denise, would you like a break for your voice?
I'm good, but you can take this part if you want. It's
All
up to
right,
you.
cool. We have a number of capital items coming in at Article 40 dash all the way down to Article 40-18. I'm going to go through each of them. We have to vote on each individual sub item. So I'm going to start at the top and just sort of work our way through as quickly and efficiently as we can. If at any point you guys want me to slow down, by all means, please like flag me down and I will do so. All right. Starting off with 40-1, we have the purchase of tire equipment and related equipment therein at all costs, yada, yada, yada. This is for the DPW for tire servicing equipment for the fleet. By doing it in-house, we save a bunch of money versus having to, one, take a vehicle off the road, incapacitate a crew, and send it off-site to get serviced. Do we have any questions on 40.1 that we haven't discussed before? All right.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-1.
Seconded.
All right, Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Moving on to 40-2, Evelyn Road resurfacing. This is part of sort of the DPW's ongoing program to maintain and repair roads sort of cyclically across the town. I think it's about this much every year. It is it's not every year, is it? Denise, I forget.
Yes,
It is
every year there's a different road put forward.
Yeah. So this is just Evelyn Road's turn. Any questions about Article 40-2? Seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-2.
Seconded.
All right, Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Moving on to 40-3. This is again DPW, retrofitting of a Mooreback chipper with a winch. This is a $15,000 winch to add on to a wood chipper that the DPW uses to shred fallen tree debris after inclement weather. We get a lot of that in New England. This is mostly just so the guys on the side of the road don't have to haul trees all day, all storms, which is just a massive safety risk. And I think 15K is a completely reasonable way of dealing with that. Any other discussion? Seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-3.
Oh, sorry. Seconded.
Tom,
Forgot that was my job.
And there.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Moving on, 40-4. These are the radio system upgrades. This is $45,000 to bring them up to spec such that they have coverage across the entirety of town, so that we don't have town employees managing, half on radios and half on personal cell phones. Any further discussion? Seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-4.
Seconded.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. All right. 40-5. It's a windstorm blower and equipment. It's 13K, and this is sort of help with sort of leaf debris and early spring cleanup and anything else that they might need for DPW services. Any other questions regarding 40-5? Seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-5.
Seconded.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Okay, Article 40-6, third of the way there. This is adding card readers to the interior doors at Pompo. These are going to be like badge style card readers where we'll have digital entry and access control. Questions about Article 40-6? Seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-6.
Seconded.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Moving on to 40-7. This is new and upgraded security cameras. Any other discussion?
For the Pompo, right?
For Pompo, yes.
Mhm.
This is Pompo and the fire station.
Oh, both, okay. Yep.
Cool. Seeing no further questions.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-7.
Seconded,
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Excellent. 40-8, painting the Old Town Hall at 375 Great Road. I love how you added the address. This is not the town building, it's the town hall.
Yes.
$49,000 for basically just pointing up the paint job so that we don't risk rotting out the wood even more.
Yes, I will add, I think we talked about this. I don't remember if it was here or in
Yeah, they're
Capitol.
doing like carpentry as well,
Yes,
right?
they're going to power wash the building, fix rotting wood, do some work around the windows and paint.
Yeah.
And this is a good number. We have a quote.
Yeah, basic sort of repairs.
Yes.
And for building that size, that's really reasonable. Tom,
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-8.
Seconded,
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. 40-9. This is new turnout gear for the fire department. $41,000 in PPE for our firefighters. Any questions about 40-9? Seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-9.
Seconded,
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
yes.
Ross,
Yes.
I'm a yes. 40-10. This is a new middle school scoreboard for Hale. This is $15K. I actually have some commentary on this that I will throw in there. One, capital planning voted to not recommend supporting this. I struggle with this in the face of all of the other capital items that they were requesting this year and in future and the 5-year plan that we've all seen at this point. I don't know if anyone else would like to express their opinion, but that is sort of my take on it. I understand that like if we have the money now and they're asking for it now, we can spend it now, but it's $15,000 that they don't necessarily need in the face of the other hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of capital requests. Would anyone else like to say anything? Questions? All right, Tom.
So if I may, just in case if you're considering not supporting this, Tom, I would recommend you still make the favorable recommendation and folks can vote against it, so that all recommendations are in the positive.
Okay. Then I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-10.
So then I should second it?
Yes.
Seconded,
All right, Tom,
No.
Angela,
no.
Ross.
No.
I am also a no. Yeah, we always make them in the affirmative. We still always need to have the secondary, and then we vote them down if we don't actually want to support it. This is 40-11. It's an upgrade to the fire alarm control panel and all of the related equipment at Hale. I think we had a pretty good conversation about this the other day at our last meeting. So if anyone, as long as we don't have any other questions, I will happily take a motion.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-12.
Oh, it's 11.
11.
I'm sorry. I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-11.
Seconded,
Yes.
Angela,
yes.
Ross,
Yes. I'm
a yes. And then we're moving on to 40-12. This is the center boiler plant replacement. If I remember correctly, portion of this is actually back paying for boiler replacement that they did last year between town meetings. So we're catching up on that, and the other half of it is additional equipment that they require to sort of keep the system running.
That is correct. They replaced one, there are 4 boilers. They replaced 2 with one more efficient because it died at the beginning of the school year. That is the reimbursement piece, and their plan is to replace the other 2 with the second high efficiency system, with the second half of these funds.
Questions? Seeing none.
All right, now I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-12.
Seconded.
All right, Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. All right, 40-13. This is the installation of the Great Road Johnson Way crosswalk. Again, this is under the police department because this is coming from, I believe, the Traffic Safety Advisory Committee.
Yes.
But they don't have a bucket in ClearGov, so it's coming in through the police. And one of the reasons why it is a $50,000 crosswalk is it's one of the enhanced crosswalks, so it's got lights and signals and all the good stuff to help the people in that community. Questions? Seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-13.
Seconded.
Excellent. Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and I am a yes. All right, 40-14. This is the annual replacement of one of our police cruisers on our fleet. We are continuing the trend of going for these more environmentally friendly vehicles, going with a hybrid again this year. RIP Lightning. Questions? Seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-14.
Seconded.
All right, Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and I am a yes. All right, 40-15. This is the second story design funds for whether or not we have a path forward with creating a second story for additional useful space in the police station. Questions from the committee? Seeing none. Tom,
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-15.
Seconded.
Tom,
Yes.
What, excuse me, question.
Good.
What did capital planning recommend?
They
Uh,
recommended favorable.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
I'm a yes.
If it helps, Ross, Capital supported it because it will help answer the question of what comes next. And is it worth pursuing this any further until we actually see if it's possible or what the cost would be? So they thought it was worth the investment in doing a study.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And for what it is worth, Denise, I very much agree with that philosophy. 40-16. This is entered by the police department, but it's a shared UTV. It's going to be shared by police, DPW, recreation, CPC, and conservation. I think
Not CPC,
Not CPC.
Recreation, Conservation, Police, Fire, DPW.
Police, fire, DPW. There we go. I forgot fire. And this is a 2x2, right? 4-seat with a hatch, right? Or with a back.
Yes, and allows a trailer. They could put a stretcher on it. They could tow air tanks, whatever's needed to get out if they had to get to an isolated location. And it would replace, I believe it's a 20-year-old UTV that they have now.
Yeah, and the 20-year-old TV I've seen it. It's not a UTV. It's a UTV. Questions? Seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-16.
Seconded.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
I'm a yes. 40-17. This is the Pine Bluff well filtration system. I believe, was it last year or 2 years ago, we put a well in there. And we need to treat the water there because it's a public park. It count is this so this count would count as a new public water supply, right?
Yes.
All right. And one of the major drivers is like we do, I don't know if they do the Camp Stowe there in the summer. They have a whole bunch of athletic fields and activities that happen there in the summer. So we need to make sure that water is potable.
Yes, we used ARPA funds to put the well in the ground and do some of the other infrastructure work there. And then the DEP determined that we do need it to be a public water supply. Even if we were only running bathrooms, we have to have the expectation that kids in a public play area would drink from a faucet. So we have to make sure even hand washing stations are potable.
So does this money also include testing it afterwards?
We've already tested it, and that's how we know we need the filtration system.
But you'll probably want to test it afterwards too?
We'll have to do regular testing, yes.
That comes from a different bucket.
That
Yeah,
comes
that
from the
was-
ongoing expenses, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Questions, comments? Seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-17.
Seconded?
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. And then 40-18, these are the Stowe Community Park security cameras. $19,000 and sorry, I'm starting to fade. Questions, comments? Seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 40-18.
Seconded?
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Moving on. All right. These Article 41 is 6 sub-items, all of which we're planning on doing through borrowing. So these will have to be at the town meeting floor, a 2/3 vote, not a simple majority. And just as a reminder, like we don't start paying for these the minute we approve it. We don't start paying for any of these until we actually receive the physical item. We just need to have the appropriations in place so that we can sign the contract for the item.
Correct.
It's not my computer that made that noise.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I was just like, oh, what? I thought it was Discord. Yes. All right. Before I rip into this, does anybody have from the public have any questions about these articles? If you do, by all means, raise your hand, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have. With my camera. Not seeing any. All right. 41.
So-
Oh,
Never. I was just gonna ask why the capital planning committee didn't recommend it.
So they did not recommend this because it's an additional vehicle to the fleet. It's not replacing a vehicle. And they felt there was not enough cost analysis to see the benefit of that this year. So I think Dan is going to do some work and get some figures for them for next year to review when he resubmits this request.
Dan, since you're here, is there anything you'd like to add on that particular item for us?
Yeah, I'd love to. Been in the town of Stowe for just about 1.5 years, and coming from the town of Shrewsbury, the town of Concord, folks very focused on the Green Communities Act and really pushing departments to be mindful of their consumption of fossil fuels. And so when I came to Stowe, I drive a F-350 Ford pickup truck, which I do plow quite a bit with it, but the majority of the time that I use it, I'm literally driving a handful of cones and a shovel and maybe some hand tools for an emergency. So took a look at, just like fuel consumption and thought that maybe I could be a little bit more effective with, a smaller vehicle, and looked at the Ford Maverick Hybrid as a good alternative. We would keep that F-350 in the fleet. I do plow during storms as, part of the crew. It being, just a spare vehicle. So I just felt we could save quite a bit of fuel just in my normal day-to-day operational activities, and the crew could use my truck more effectively.
Is your truck a town asset right now?
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
Okay, just making sure.
So you wouldn't want to trade it in?
No, what we would do is we would put a lift gate on the back of it. We don't have small pickup trucks in our fleet, so we have one pickup truck for the crew, and then it's all small dump trucks and bigger dump trucks. So this would be a super asset where we could put a lift gate on the back of it. Folks go to pick something up, they could use the back of it to put the paint machine when they're painting crosswalks or other projects that they're doing. So we kind of really felt that it would be a good move to give that to the daily operations.
I mean, I guess I personally like the idea of driving a hybrid every day instead of a Ford F-350, but that's my personal
You could
opinion.
veer you don't need to follow capital planning's. They will stand up at town meeting and express their opinion. You could stand up and express your opinion if you have a different one. I have recommended financing it. We do have the funds.
So I ran just so I as part of the operations, I support the crew by plowing. Like I'll take a route and plow with it. But normally what I'm doing, I think we could save probably. My estimate was 750 gallons of fuel a year. So it's not a small footprint.
Yeah.
Is that a diesel truck or is it gas?
It's gas.
I mean, that's like assuming gas prices stay relatively sane, or whatever sane is right now. Uh that's like a 3K-ish a year
Yep.
savings.
It's quite the assumption, but yeah.
Well, and there is additional cost because we have to add it to the insurance, and there's
Yeah.
other costs associated with bringing another car into the fleet. So
Yeah.
it's not just the net of the gas savings.
Yeah.
So you're aware.
And you definitely need all the dump trucks and everything.
We do, and then you look at kind of the trickle down effect where those vehicles get much less like fuel efficiency, that the folks are just they're driving around. So
Yeah.
I haven't gone that far into the analysis, but
that's what I was wondering is like if your truck goes to replace a dump truck, then do you still need all the dump trucks?
fully staffed we do, and then when we get into plowing, like we always need spares, right? Things break down, so it's good to have a few spares just in the fleet, because the long duration storms can be pretty impactful.
Right. But if it's for light work, it's far better than taking a dump truck out when I'm going to go and, I don't know, put some cones down or something.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 41-1.
Seconded.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what the previous vote was.
We have a yes and a yes from Tom and Angela.
A yes from me.
And that'll make 4. Yes for me as well. To 41-2. This is replacing truck S11. This is the crew chief's pickup. How old again is that truck? The current version of it?
That's a 2011 Chevy crew cab pickup truck. So it's been in the fleet for a long time, and it's got to the point where we have frame rot, replacing brake lines, and it has served us well. But it's time to pass it along. I think has 132,000 miles. Don't quote me on that. I don't have it in front of me, but it's quite a bit.
Are you gonna get another hybrid?
So that one will be an actual, pickup truck, not a dump truck, but it will be a full crew cab. So we can actually put, more than 2 employees in it and go to a job site. And I've watched this crew do that quite effectively where, if they're going out to do something where they need the whole crew, they'll put tools in the back and then, rather than take 2 or 3 trucks, they'll take 1 truck, which, I commend them for. So it's quite effective.
Questions? All right, seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 41-2.
Seconded.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
I'm a yes. 41-3, this is a replacement for the police station generator, and all the hookups necessary. The old generator died last year, and we've been using, I can never remember the organization.
No, so we had a generator from MEMA, Mass Emergency
MEMA.
Management, until the blizzards occurred and the Cape lost the power. They came and took the temporary generator. We had some work done on the old generator to get it working, but it's just not something that's going to be long lasting. It is in need of replacement.
Any questions, comments? All right, seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 41-3.
Seconded.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
I am a yes. Which brings us down to 41.4. This is engine 12 replacement. So for those of you who don't remember, was it 2 years ago? I believe we voted to spend about 50K on refurbishing engine 12. That was done at that time with a purpose. There is a 3-year lead time on getting new fire engines. And that 50K was to buy us, hopefully a little over 3 years. Because we do need a fire engine or the fire chief believes we need an engine of this size. And again, the 1.1 million, we don't actually have to take that debt out and start paying for it until we physically receive the fire engine.
And if I may add, we did apply for a federal congressional earmark grant specifically for fire trucks through Senator Markey's office. It is a highly competitive, it's one of the most competitive federal grants, but we figured why not? We thought we had a good case, so we did submit that, I think at the end of March. So maybe we won't need this, but if we don't get the grant, we would need to replace the vehicle and have funding in order to sign a purchase order.
Any questions, commentary, concerns? All right, seeing none. Tom,
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 41-4.
Seconded.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Moving on to 41-5. This is a center inhaled network switch replacement. This is 143,850. I don't remember all of the details on this one. Denise, if you could help me out a little bit.
Yeah, so this came up last year. but the other two towns were not ready to move forward, and the goal is to replace all the switches with the same equipment at the same time. The original request for this was about 180,000, but because they're purchasing them for all of the schools, they got a discount through the manufacturer, so it brought it down to 143,000 to replace those two switches. This will actually, excuse me, fall in line with the fact that we received a grant to run fiber to all the municipal buildings, which includes the two schools. So they will be able to better communicate with their switches and the fiber, just to help out, increase redundancy and to provide some better resources than they have now. So this is less than what they came forward last year and a discount from what they started with this year.
Denise, just one question. So I'm assuming this is again on Bolton and Lancaster's
Yes.
capital. So if they knock it down again, they won't do it, and then we'll be back.
So I don't know. They haven't said. I think both other towns have supported moving it forward. Last year, they wouldn't even move it forward. I think we're in a situation that if they vote it down in the other communities, they could still move ahead with it here. It doesn't meet their goal of getting all the schools on the new switches. But I think at some point they're going to have to bite the bullet and start replacing their equipment, even if it's only one town at a time. But if it fails in the other two communities and they choose not to move forward with it, it is a borrowing article. So we would just rescind that borrowing authorization and wouldn't spend any money if they chose not to move forward.
Thank you.
Wait,
Very
so
helpful.
you're saying if the other towns don't move forward, we would also not move forward?
No. If you recommend, it would be up to the school. So if you vote favorable, town meeting supports it, and the other two towns vote it down, it would be up to the school if they want to proceed with just Center and Hale. If they choose not to proceed, we would just rescind the authorization for this money. We're not spending anything. We would just rescind it at the next town meeting. But they could still choose to do just Stowe only and start the process of replacing them one by one.
Would it still be the same cost because of the discount?
That I don't know, to be honest with you. Probably not. They may have to reevaluate or pay the difference themselves because they were getting the bundled discount for all of the equipment.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 41-5.
Seconded?
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
I am a yes, moving forward. And that brings us into Article 42.
Nope, 41-6.
Oh, did I miss one? Oh, yeah, 41-6. Thank you. 41-6. This is the water system upgrade at Center. And again, I have the information in ClearGov, but it's not in front of me. So
Yeah, so last year, in October, a week before Stowcase and the special town meeting, they had to shut the water off at Center School because it was not meeting DEP quality requirements. We weren't really sure if we were going to be able to proceed with either one of those events, but for a few days they brought in bottled waters for the students, and then were able to put in a temporary replacement system to provide the necessary resources that DEP required. It was just a Band-Aid approach. This would actually upgrade the system to do the filtration and make the needed requirements that DEP has issued them an order on.
thank you. Any questions on 41-6? All right.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Tom.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 41-6.
Seconded?
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
I am a yes. All right, now we're on to 42.
So 42 is the West School roof stabilization and masonry work for the West School submitted to community preservation by the Historic Commission. There was a lot of debate about this at Capitol on a number of things. Is this enough money? Will it do the repairs that are needed? They had Historical had sort of basic quotes at about 200,000 that didn't include prevailing wage, didn't include the engineering. So they guessed at a dollar amount. After much discussion, capital planning decided to support it because it was important to maintain the building and stabilize the roof. 2 days ago, I received an email from the Historic Commission who said, after conversation that they've had with Mass Historical and the Architectural Access Board, excuse me, if this work is performed on the West School, it needs to be brought up to full ADA compliance. So, Historical is meeting next Thursday to discuss that. CPC is meeting on May 4th, I believe, and they will discuss that. There's some question on whether or not they'll be able to do some of the work and at least keep the roof stabilized. I don't know how this would play out. You still need to make a recommendation. It is possible that this will be tabled because it's either not going to be enough money, or similar to the conversation we had with the town hall, how much money are we going to sink in for a building that's barely utilized? If the public's not in there, but we have to bring it up to code, is it really worth it? So they'll be having those conversations over the next few weeks, leading up to town meeting. I did tell them that if they still needed time, they could tell me right before town meeting if they're going to table it or not, just so we could make the necessary adjustments. But that is where it stands as of today.
Go ahead, Ross.
Is it leaking?
It's not leaking.
Then I think we ought to wait.
Yeah.
I think my feeling, I mean, I ride my bicycle by that site pretty regularly. ADA accommodations, I think is going to change the scope pretty drastically on what they're looking at, just in terms of being able to get on site. So, I think originally I thought it sounded like a great idea until I saw the email 2 days ago.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I was on the fence about this one for two reasons. One, it's reminiscent of the old town hall. As Denise pointed out, I think the number that they originally came up with might be in the ballpark, but with that change, I'm not sure it's even close.
We tend to agree with that.
And the old town hall is in the middle of town, but I don't think this one is either.
No, this is, well, you're not quite as far as Delaney, but you're on the way there.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, well,
Well, any questions or comments from non-committee members of the town? All right, not seeing any.
Then I move we recommend favorable action on Article 42.
seconded?
Tom,
No.
Angela,
No.
Ross,
No.
and I'm a no.
Do you want me to add a note with your recommendation that specifies because of the change, or do you just want it to state that you don't recommend favorable action and you'll maybe make a comment on town meeting floor?
I'm more comfortable making a comment on town meeting floor with regards to that. Because I don't want it to like sandbag future pursuits if they find better avenues for funding in the future.
Perfect.
Brings it down to 43.
So-
We all knew this one was coming.
Yes, so snow and ice deficit. So as you'll notice, this is the only town-supported article that does not have a dollar amount. I've spent much of the last 3 days going through every single budget, looking to see where we can take money from. The total overage is $326,000. Luckily, though, DPW had a number of vacancies over the year, so they have $175,000 in wage money that we can attribute to this. I have gone through other line items. The procurement person that's gone unfilled, some other positions that we've had either partially filled or we had some vacancy. Any place I could take money, I'm sort of whittling it away for year-end transfers to see what's remaining for free cash. I believe as of today, but I sent my stuff off to the accountant to review. I think we're at about $60,000 that will be needed from free cash. We've had some difficulties in the fire department this year with a number of employees being out or leaving and having being short-staffed for a number of months, which caused tremendous amount of overtime. So we are well over the fire department budget. We usually transfer for call firefighter wages, but this year we're going to also need to transfer for overtime. So given that we are so over in that department, I would have had enough to cover snow and ice had it not been for the fire department. But now we're trying to plan for the last 2.5 months of the fiscal year and try and figure out what the fire department will need to run the department, keep the town safe. So that's where I struggle a little bit. I don't want to be too conservative and then not have this transfer cover what we need. I don't want to be less conservative and move more free cash than we need. So right now I'm at about $60,000. We need to cover the deficit somehow, and I will be working with the town accountant to identify a more solid number when she looks at sort of payroll estimates to what we're comfortable recommending on town meeting. So I don't have a dollar amount, but we need to make a transfer from free cash.
I mean,
Denise, would you mind if I just shared, this year we joined a SALT consortium with 18 other communities rather than going with the state bid. And through that, obviously, tremendous winter. We all know that. But we received favorable pricing and we saved going with the consortium versus our typical state bid about $28,000 that we would have normally paid. So just wanted to share that with you folks.
Salt is expensive.
Yes, it is. The majority of that overage is materials. It's not labor, it's materials and products.
we actually import most of our salt. It's shocking. Go ahead, Russ.
So snow and ice, Denise, you're thinking it's going to be around 60,000?
That's where I think I'm
deficit?
going to end up based on, but it will depend on like I said, what the town accountant thinks for the fire department will need to close out the year.
So that number may change, but if we voted a range tonight, could we vote that we would support 60,000 up to 100,000 to cover snow and ice? Would that help us move things ahead later on?
Sure. If you want to put a range in
I
there, you
mean,
can.
do you think the 100,000 is the high end?
It probably doesn't matter because the number needs to get put there later.
I hope that we're not more than 100,000. I just can't say for sure until like I said, I've taken every penny I can, but I'm just afraid of taking too much and then not having enough with the year-end transfers to cover the fire department. So that's what I'm stuck on.
We need to cover snow and ice, so I think it's a reasonable article.
Denise, does that 60K include reserve fund?
It does not.
Okay.
So your 80,000 would still be available for unforeseen expenses, or if we needed to close that, I think there's 80,000 left to close that gap.
Yeah. Okay. That's actually
we've done one reserve fund already for I think the sergeant's exam or something.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that was only a couple of $100.
No, I think it was
A couple
8,000. Yeah. So maybe there was only one. I have it right in front of me, so I can actually look. But
I mean, I think the idea is that we still have an additional safety net left.
Yes, you have 71,000 left of the 80,000.
That's all right. All right.
So however you're comfortable proceeding, if you want to vote a range, and it's outside of that, as we get closer to town meeting, I may need you to take another vote that day if the number is off that.
Yep. Jim, you have a comment.
think I might just be getting a little confused by the conversation. Your motion is going to be to transfer from certified free cash, though, correct?
Correct.
Even though we're talking about other sources and line items.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Thank you.
I don't think we need to put a limit on it because it's just our recommendation and it'll get voted on at the town meeting. We don't know what the number is right now.
I don't think we should box ourselves in until we're ready to box ourselves in.
Um,
I mean, we're gonna have to spend the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm hung up on. Like, I like your idea, Ross, but I think I'm hung up on the same spot where, like, we're spending the money to cover this. What we're voting on is whether or not we're going to give Denise the pre-clearance for free cash. Like, what's the alternative in this situation? Like, we just immediately bleed that out of the reserve fund and hope that's enough.
And my goal is to take as little free cash as possible. I mean, I was really hoping we didn't need to transfer anything, but and I did meet with the fire chief and we had a conversation about his budget and the overtime and that he needs to sort of get a handle on that for the last few months. It's not going to make a dent because the the discrepancy in staff was the beginning of the fiscal year. So now he's just making up for it. But I told him he needs to at least do something to lessen the impact for these last few months. So my goal is to not take free cash, but I think I'm going to be stuck around 60 if all goes according to plan.
Okay. With that in mind, I think that I would prefer to have the standard motion on this without having to ask for an amendment to the article.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 43.
Seconded.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
I am a yes. All right. Article 44, archiving documents. This is $15,000 to digitize and permanently archive some paper documents that we are required to maintain as permanent records.
Yeah, so
Questions?
this
Go
is one of
ahead.
those articles that I would expect will move into the consent calendar because I think that the goal is to put this amount every year and continue. So we're going to start with the building department and then we move on to the other departments that have plans so that it becomes searchable. They can share them easily with the different departments and we can free up some file space while still permanently keeping these. So I would expect that we'll need this for many years to digitize the amount of records that we have here.
Questions, comments? Seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 44.
Seconded.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. All right.
Article 45 to update the town's hazard mitigation plan. The hope is that these funds are not needed. We have a federal grant to update our hazard mitigation plan that expired in 2016. We are required to have one. Mass Emergency Management has been on us to get this plan done. So they did allocate a grant. But with the cuts through from the federal government and the big, beautiful bill, they don't expect that this grant will be continued after this year. And it takes somewhere between 18 and 24 months to update the plan because it requires public input and community meetings, et cetera. So I've talked to Mass Emergency Management. We are in the process of bidding for the company to do this update. And they recommended having an article because I can't sign a contract guaranteeing funding if then the grant goes away. And we won't know if the grant goes away until the end of this year. They are hopeful that the grant will continue. They're just not, they can't guarantee it today. So we're putting this on there. If it's not needed, we'll close the account. It'll fall back to free cash. But at the end of the day, we have to get the plan updated because we are no longer in compliance.
So that update has not, the process has not started yet.
It has not started.
So the funds would be next year. not
Correct.
this
It would
year.
be for July 1st. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, this one's pretty straightforward. We are required to have a plan. Tom,
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 45.
Seconded.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
I'm a yes.
Article 46, we may have talked about this. So this is a special legislation act. This would allow the select board to petition the general court for legislation to allow us to post our our legal notices in digital format using our website, using the Independent online. When the print Independent went away, we started scrambling, trying to figure out where we could post our public hearing and our legal notices. I reached out to all of the newspapers in the area to figure out who is getting print papers still. The one I was the most hopeful for was the Metro West Daily, and there are only 3 subscribers in Stowe. So we have taken to advertising in the Action Unlimited, but we have heard from people that they don't read that, they don't see them. We did create a section in our website that allows folks to subscribe for our legal notices so that they're getting them, but that's not compliant with the law. We have been petitioning the state as a whole to make this change, kind of like these hybrid meetings. To me, it's low-hanging fruit. There's so few digital print newspapers, and they still require on procurement, on public hearings, on so many things to have it in a print paper. So a handful of towns have already moved forward with special legislation to do this. This language is actually right from, I think, the town of Sudbury. And so it's just another avenue. We're wasting money on print media that no one is looking at in town. And I feel like we're doing a disservice because people aren't seeing it. The Independent has told me that their subscribership has gone up quite a bit since they went to a digital format. So more people are reading the digital paper than even were subscribed previously. So it's just another way that we can get the word out and comply legally with the state's requirements.
Sure.
Any questions? All right, seeing none.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 46.
Seconded.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
I'm a yes.
Article 47, and since Dan has chosen to be on this meeting, I'm going to throw it to him to give a very brief summary of what this bylaw does. Because I'll be honest, I did not read it all, Dan. So if you want to share what this bylaw does, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. So back when our recent NIPD's permit was issued for the MS4 system, we were required to have a bylaw for post-construction activities, when 1 acre or more is disturbed, for a development. So what this bylaw does is it really just kind of sets the ground rules for, when an acre or more are disrupted. But the more important part of this is we need to develop rules and regulations that will be more specific and really be, kind of the backbone of what, really what this does.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed to admit that I read the whole thing. My one question is, is this going to impact our partners in the Stowe Acres project, the developer?
So at this point, this will go into effect at town meeting. Then it has to go to the Attorney General's office for approval, and then we have to do rules and regulations. So this is likely, late summer. And I think, my thought is anything that's already in the works probably isn't going to get captured by this.
Okay.
And they're expecting to start, that project is expecting to start pretty much any day. They're just waiting for the final things to fall in place, but they are pretty much ready to go.
Lovely.
And so this was supposed to be in place by, January 1st of 2024. So we're a little behind, and we're not the only community. This is one of those things that, it's, easy to kind of, slip by. And, so we're just trying to get caught up.
Okay. Denise, we talked briefly about sort of neutral language for our recommendations. I'll come back to you, Ross, in a second.
That's where I was going.
Did we ever get any kind of answer on that?
Yes, so I have some neutral language if you would like. So I'll just copy it and paste. So this is sort of what I came up with. Whoops. As this article has no financial impact, the Finance Committee respectfully recommends the decision be left to the voters. So that is what I came up with as a recommendation that you would make that has no positive or negative connotation to it.
And fair enough, because this, really has been tailored to meet the minimum requirements of the regulations. So,
what is everyone's thought on something like that for this one?
I like that answer. Does this have a financial impact on the town?
Good.
I mean, it could.
I mean, I would say at this point, no. I think once the next step goes into effect, potentially. Would that be accurate, Dan?
yeah, and I think, any financial impact would likely be passed along to any developer. We may have to implement, the stormwater, permitting process, but yeah, typically like the peer reviews and, the technical, assistance would be passed along to, those applying for the permit. So I think that's fair at this point. And it's new. We've got a lot of work to do before, next year, but I think at this point, I think it's a fair statement.
Right. And I think the basis of the article in that initial paragraph is that violations would be sort of set aside and then used to pay the administrative and costs associated with it. So there's really no cost impact unless there are violations, and then violations are paid through the fees, and then they put that back into the project.
Go ahead, Jim.
Sorry, I just can't help myself. So I looked in the bylaw, and I think you're okay with this kind of a recommendation. And to kind of summarize Article 4, Section 1, which talks about the FinCom, it basically says no action shall be taken on a warrant article until the article is referred to the committee and a recommendation is made thereon. It says nothing about the substance of the recommendation. And I don't see any reason based on what I'm reading here that a recommendation to leave the decision to the voters wouldn't qualify. The bylaw seems to be saying, we got to make sure you guys see it first, have a chance to act and report. But if this is it says nothing about the substance of that report, if that makes sense.
Yes, I would agree, Jim, and that's why it's making a so I had originally had some language that we're not making a recommendation, but after going back to the bylaws, it clearly says they have to make a recommendation. So this was sort of as neutral as I could get.
While still making a recommendation.
While still making a recommendation, yes.
I'm sorry to cover the same ground. I just couldn't help myself.
That's
No.
okay.
Hey, I am just as easy about nerding out about science stuff. Does everyone feel like that's appropriate for this article? If you don't, we won't. But
I'm fine
I
with
like
either. I'm fine with either favorable action or this.
All right. I will leave it in your capable hands then, Tom.
Then I move we respectfully recommend the decision be left to the voters on Article 47.
Seconded.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
I am a yes.
Okay, I will just highlight that for tomorrow. Okay, our last three articles are the citizens petitions. So just a reminder, these appeared exactly as they were submitted. Our council actually had to make sure of that we changed nothing, even spelling errors or incorrect names, punctuation, everything is exactly as it came in. They do not review it for any legality. They will just discuss with the moderator and myself what town meeting's authority is. I can tell you on all three of these, they have made it clear that the three citizens petitions are non-binding. I think we've covered this at our last meeting, but town meeting can't force the select board to do anything. One of the articles I think says direct the select board. So the select board can take what town meeting does and decide to act on it or not. So all three of them will be non-binding. The petitioners I will be reaching out to will have to provide their own motion. We do not make the motions on these articles. And they will have to determine whether or not they are making a presentation on it as well. So the first one is the Common Road Citizens Petition.
Brian, can I make a comment?
By all means, Ross.
I have association with some of the people that are supporting this petition, and I have checked with the state's Department of Conflict, and they said I have no conflict as long as I file a disclosure statement to the person that appointed me, which I have done. That happens to be the moderator. So there is no conflict in me discussing this article or voting this article, either here or at town meeting.
Good on you for filing the paperwork, man. I always just recuse myself because it's easier.
I had some coaching.
I think, Brian, I think this one falls into the language that Denise proposed, which I love for like the next two, but I worry that this one specifically calls out a request for a transfer from free cash and just how we think about that relative to that statement and how we use it through. I think it's just worth a quick conversation around us definitively arriving at, there's no financial impact, since this one specifically calls out pretty clearly.
I agree with you. This one very explicitly calls out for funding. Even if that funding has already been planned, it is still a financial impact to the town because, again, as we talked about, if it hasn't been spent, go ahead, Jim.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. The upshot of this article is going to be, it's going to be the same as a motion to refer the issue to the select board.
You're right.
The select board may or may not take action. They may or may not decide to fund it. If they do decide to fund it, they may or may not take it from free cash. At least that's how I see it, and that's subject to a conversation with town council, but that's where I see this going. The upshot of whatever motion is made here, even if it's made, I move the article as written, the effect will be the same as a motion to refer the issue to the select board.
So by that interpretation, Jim, and I just want to make it clear, it's because the referral to the select board has no direct financial impact, that there is no financial impact to the town by this motion.
I mean, I guess there is indirectly.
Well, so like that's where we're at.
But no decision to fund is being made by this or method of funding. Denise, am I wrong about that?
Well, I mean, I look at it slightly different. Yes, it's a motion to refer to the select board, but then there is no funding. The select board can't take from free cash without an appropriation. So if it is referred to the select board, even if they support it, it can't do anything until there's funding associated with it. So I I took this article that it's sort of twofold. It's putting money aside so that if it does go back to the select board, they have something to act upon. Perhaps that's not the intent, but that's how I took the verbiage of that article.
You know,
I think that's correct. I think the intention was to have funds available if the selectmen decide to do something.
So I think there will have to be a motion to allocate dollars to this on town meeting floor if that's the intention. And if that's what the motion is expected to come forward with.
All right. With that in mind, if they're well, so now we're playing the will they, won't they game, right? Because if they don't make that motion on the floor, it does materially change it may materially change our recommendation, which we can't do on town meeting floor. So do we want to act as a group as if we assume that either through a motion on the floor or through downstream impact, there will be a financial value to this or not? So the first question on the table is, do we believe there is a potential financial impact on the town tied to this article?
well, chicken or egg. If we change a road, it's going to cost something. It's not going to happen because we will it. So there's going to be a cost in changing a road if it's approved. But that's assuming it's approved.
And we would get a second swing at it because it would have to come back as an article.
Absolutely.
Oh, no, unless they amend it on the floor.
No, so roads do not come before town meeting unless there's an appropriation. So if this goes back to the select board has the authority to do what they want to the roads in town. That's not so remanding it back to town meeting is not going to happen. If there's no funding allocated here and the select board decides they want to do something other than what they've already voted, it would have to come back at a subsequent town meeting to get funding, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that was, you said it more eloquently than I did, Denise.
So I'm reading this differently than I read it before. So Denise, you're saying that there may be under this article a motion to transfer some amount from free cash or Chapter 90 money or some other source to somewhere else?
That's what I took from this article. Yes, that my expectation is a motion will say, refer to the select board and transfer X amount of dollars to see this project through or something like that. That's what I took from this.
Yeah,
All right.
I see that as well.
And I
Okay.
think
That's
based
the correct
on Ross,
assumption.
yes.
The correct assumption was we wanted something to happen and to give the selectmen some abilities to fund that if they chose to do that.
Yes, so that the assumption that there would be a two-step motion of referring and funding is what I think the petitioners are looking to do.
Okay, I'm going to have to, this is just a warning to the petitioners, which I know he can relay it. I had interpreted we request a transfer to kind of be connected with the asking the select board. You're asking the select board to transfer or to take steps toward a transfer. If there's going to be a motion to transfer some amount of money from some source to some other source, with the amount of money not being named in the article, with the source from which it is coming being vaguely identified, and the source to which it is going not being identified, I'm going to have a conversation with council and get some advice about what is within the scope of this article. Possibly I'll be able to interpret it as an article that says a transfer of some amount of money from some place to some other place. That is basically what it says.
Well,
Go ahead.
we were envisioning putting a dollar number down there because I thought that the warrant article can be vague, but the motion has to be specific.
Yeah, but it would have to, I mean, I guess I can infer, this is what I want to talk to council about. It should have said something like, or some amount, in some amount, or it should, or up to something. I think I remember talking to you about this. Perhaps I can infer in some amount, but when the source isn't specified, when the destination isn't specified, I'm just going to have to give it some thought between now and town meeting, really between now and the Stowe's meeting. I had not until now interpreted it that way, but I see how it's intended.
Well, can the motion that's made on town meeting floor be specific on the amount and the source?
I'm assuming it will be, it'll have to be, but is that within scope of such a vague article? Maybe, maybe not. I have to give that some thought.
Could I
I
just
mean,
weigh in for 1 second? So I read this article more as the layout of the road rather than the cost of construction, right? The width of the road, we can only go up to about 21 feet with what the select board has already, approved. So I don't know that there's a huge construction cost. I think it's more of, the regulation of the flow of traffic, just from my perspective. I think as it is proposed now, it will be one-way traffic with parking, parallel to take up. I think the layout's about 21 feet, but my interpretation is it's more of, what the regulation is in terms of that flow of traffic, just from my understanding.
All right. I'm gonna circle us back around to the question number one in front of us, which is, and from the sounds of it, I don't think that, well, actually, I'm not going to make an assumption. Just by a quick show of hands, how many of the committee members think this will have zero financial impact? All right, cool. So decision one is done. We have to either make a recommendation to recommend favorable action, so the vote that's going to be in front of us is whether or not to recommend favorable action. That's step one. Step two, go ahead.
No, I didn't realize that was a pause. Forgive me.
No worries. So question one is solved. Question two is, how do we as a committee feel about this, assuming that it will have financial impact?
I personally have reservations. I don't know what the width on that portion of the road that we're talking about is now, but I know there's sidewalk in place now. To me, having looked at it, it looks substantially narrower than it was. And, I'm just in my head looking at it, well, if we're going to widen it, where's that going to come from? Is it going to come off of the green that's down there at this point, which, now impinges on the memorial that we have there for veterans? I'm not unsympathetic to getting in and out of the church and so forth, but we just, it was built that way when they redid the town hall. And
may I add, so two things I will just add. The zoning board of appeals has required parallel parking there for the library. So if there is a decision to revisit the road, we would have to go back and amend the permit with the ZBA, and that will have costs associated with it, to re-engineer parking that is required. The other thing I will tell you is, myself and the chair of the select board met with the president of the church, and he wanted to clarify that this is not a request from the church. So he just wanted us to be aware that the church is not behind this. The church did not put this article forward. He wanted us to be clear on that.
Ross, go ahead, buddy.
What the petitioners are asking is for the selectmen to look at reconsidering which may mean some design changes. It doesn't necessarily mean rip up the existing. No one wants to rip up the sidewalk in front of the library. Nobody wants to adversely impact the memorial, but I think there are design changes that could be done. And all we're asking is for the selectmen to reconsider it. They may vote no, or they may vote yes, and we're just trying to have some funds available for them to do that. So I think this is the key. Let the subject be redebated and see if it can be settled differently than it is now.
Yeah, Ross, I would say, my kids go to preschool there. I make that precarious turnout on the 117 most mornings, right? And I certainly see it. I do question how it could be better, and I think looking into that and thinking about it is always an acceptable thing to do and something we should do. I think specifically asking for the funds in an indeterminate amount is, just something that is a big question mark in my mind. So I don't dispute the underlying focus and the underlying issue. But I just wonder about other ways that we could look at this with something that doesn't, run up a consulting bill and things like that.
Yeah, I think I agree. I don't want people to make dangerous turns into traffic, but and I live on Great Road, so I know how busy it gets, but the free cash thing is strange. I mean, maybe it can be resubmitted differently next time.
The idea was to make the changes before they get too far along on the repair of Common Road.
I apologize. 1 second, my computer is doing weird stuff. Um, um, I think the challenge here is that we are stymied on an article that has enough ambiguity to it between intent and language. So I'd like to sort of focus this back on as it is written and as each of us interprets as it's written and its intent, move towards the recommendation one way or the other. Because I feel like we've all sort of expressed where we feel this falls. So if you wouldn't mind, Tom.
I move we recommend favorable action on Article 48.
Seconded?
Tom,
No.
Angela,
No.
Ross,
Yes.
and I am a no. All right. I will be interested to see how that one changes on the floor.
Article 49 is a citizen's petition about changing the state flag and seal of Massachusetts. So there's not much else to say about it. There's some incorrect names in here, and so I would imagine that there'll be a motion on town meeting floor to correct some of the misspellings and incorrect names, but it will be up to the petitioner again or somebody else to make those motions. This is just a matter of asking the resolution be sent into the state. And I don't mean just, this is asking for a resolution to be sent into the state.
I suggest a neutral response.
Yep.
Agree.
Can you put that language up again where I could?
Yes, I
Oh,
can.
beautiful.
Oops.
Go for it, Tom.
Right? Okay. Let's see, I move as this article has no financial impact. The Finance Committee respectfully recommends the decision be left to the voters.
Seconded.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
I am a yes.
Okay, and then the last citizens petition is a declaration for democracy. Again, there's some questionable things in here. It's directing the select board to actually issue a statement on the 4th of July. So I think that alone is probably not going to happen, but same thing. It's a declaration that the petitioner is asking the town meeting to make. So my expectation is you will take the same neutral language. So I will put it up here if that's what you'd like.
Thank you.
That's
Any debate, conversation on this one?
No.
neutral language.
Yep.
I move as this article has no financial impact. The Finance Committee respectfully recommends the decision be left to the voters.
Okay.
Seconded.
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
and Ross,
Yes.
and I am a yes.
And that is it. You do not weigh in on the election, which is the last article of the. So that is it for the town meeting warrant and the budget.
All right.
You just have
And-
to finalize your report.
Yep. In that case, I will go ahead and adjourn the public hearing portion of this meeting. And we will go on to just normal business.
Can you just take a motion to adjourn?
Oh yeah, can I get a motion to
Public
adjourn,
hearing.
please? The public hearing, not the whole meeting, just the public hearing.
I move we adjourn the public hearing.
Seconded.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
All right. Thank
Brian,
you
I
very much.
really have to beg off.
Go do what you
Go
got.
to bed. And we got to go tomorrow. So.
Yep. Go enjoy what I'm sure is much lovelier weather than we have.
Hey, we have nice weather.
It's beautiful today.
It was
Yeah.
beautiful today. Today.
It's New England.
Enjoy,
Wait,
Ross.
All right. Good night,
Bye,
everybody.
Ross.
Night, Ross.
Good night.
All right.
What's the rest of the meeting about and how long is it going to be?
Hopefully less than 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, I
Denise,
have to pee anyway, so I'll be right back.
all right, go hit the head real quick. So Denise, why don't you let me share my screen? So I did make some changes.
Did you get the one that I sent you?
Yes, I've been editing the one you sent me
Okay, perfect.
because I learned that lesson.
Let me see. You should be able to share, but I changed the permissions, so maybe you can't.
You did. I just gotta find the right document and put it on the right tab. Cool. Awesome. So very little materially has changed from what you guys saw this last. Ross requested that as part of the balance between of the target of 5 to 10% of the budget be free cash and stabilization fund. I did the math on figuring what that is. At time of certification at end of 2025 for fiscal year 25, it was about 10.8%. I imagine that is not going to be the case at the end of this year, but that's what it was at certification. And then Denise added some language here, or no, some numbers here. I tweaked your
Yes.
language a little bit. And these are the correct expenditure numbers for percentages of contribution to expenditures.
Yes, just the percentages were off a little bit, so I
Yeah.
updated those.
Down here, we gave Denise a raise in fall of 2025.
No, that one is for the wage and classification schedule.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Well, I wish you gave me a raise in the fall of 25. You did not.
We do not. That's what's driving the net. One of the big increase in the salary lines is that this is the first year where they were putting that in the budget.
Yes.
This part down here, select board voted to give Denise a raise because again, she was below the median salary for a town administrator, significantly so. And whereas the numbers are hers, the essence of the language, and I will read it in full, is that in fiscal year 27, for fiscal year 27, the select board renegotiated the TA's contract. As a result of the market rate for the TA position, an increase has been budgeted for. Increase is going to bring salary line in line with the median. However, she's still going to be far below the median for the total compensation of the region. So like competitive towns around us, Denise's total compensation package is below that. Is below the median for that. It's a 1%, it's 1.76% of the increase in our municipal budget for this year. So I think it's worth noting to the people, and these are my words, and I will edit them as you see fit. While this increase may appear large, Denise has had a remarkably outsized impact on the town and is probably the only person in the town building at like 8 p.m. 4 nights a week. She is phenomenally dedicated to the town, and it's really unwise to underpay people who do good work and go above and beyond. So we support this pay adjustment to bring her back in line with where she should be getting paid. Any objections to any of the words, language, phrasing, grammar? I am a scientist, not an English major.
So do people have to vote on this, or what is this for? It's just a report.
This
It's-
is your report.
Yeah, this is our annual report. So this part here, everything up until the fiscal year 2027, this was the report we approved like a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
This is our report analyzing the budget that we've all just spent the last like 6 weeks pouring through.
Okay.
So this will be the lead into the warrant to tell
Yeah.
the people why you're recommending what you're recommending. It sort of gives your perspective on it in a written form.
I see.
And we've done this before, it will get pulled out as something that people will want to talk about. It happens anytime any salary line goes up. And it is potentially more contentious because it is Denise who is sort of the face of the administration of the town. So it's always good to get it out in front of that crap.
Do we want to say some things about her accomplishments then?
I will happily harp all day about OPEB and ClearGov. I can put that in right now.
Well, it is, I mean, this is supposed to be, a budget analysis, and while you're wonderful, Denise.
You can speak freely. I appreciate it, but you don't have to. You can
Yeah.
speak freely. I don't take offense.
I get, I mean, I'm fine with adding language that, to that end and support. I would be brief because again, it's supposed to be, essentially our analysis of what we're seeing based on the budget and the numbers.
All right. How much would you feel comfortable removing?
Like a sentence.
Let's get rid of that. And get rid of the, capitalizing the. The only other thing that like I would take care of
No, that one's good though.
get rid of the top one here.
No,
I mean, I'm just asking, like literally I'm clicking around. I'm asking for what you
no, I
guys
think it's fine.
Yeah, that looks like a very much just the facts type budget summary.
Cool. And then I just need to unhighlight that. The one other request, Ross also gave me some spelling and punctuation changes, which I've made all of those changes. The one thing that he did ask for that I am not going to roll in only because I just didn't have time was to include the capital stabilization fund in this table here. For two reasons. One, if I do that, it squishes the whole table and makes all of it significantly less legible. And two, I don't have capitalization fund data back to 2020 in my spreadsheets.
Well, it didn't exist. It didn't exist in 2020.
Oh, that's probably why.
I think it's only 2023, I think was the first year we funded it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So I just putting that on the record as like I would have done that had I had both space and all enough information to populate the table. With that, this is with the committee's blessing. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we approve this as our a report to annual town meeting.
I'll second.
All right. Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
and I am a yes.
And you will send that to me tonight because I have to get the warrant done. into the
Yeah.
printer.
I'm going to go ahead and just do all of that right now.
Okay.
I will stop sharing.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Well, while you're doing that, I can say there were no reserve fund transfers requests. I don't have any updates because I think we've talked about everything I need to update you on. You do have minutes. 4-1 was that? Yeah, 4-1. So I'm happy to help out and say, does anyone look at the minutes? Does anyone make a motion on your minutes?
I'm actually going to ask everybody to do me one favor so that I can send this to Denise right now. Can you just go ahead and make sure that I spelled your names correctly?
In which document?
This one right down here.
You didn't share your screen.
Oh, I
you-
didn't?
Oh, I see. I see. No, I see it.
Did,
I
yeah,
saw it.
There.
was he shared?
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, okay.
It looks good.
Cool. Felt like a total jerk. I referred to Ross from
Oh, Mulcairn.
McCarran as Ross Perry at the opening of the meeting a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh, I'm a jackass. All right, cool.
Okay. I motion to approve the minutes from the April 1st FinCom meeting.
I'll second that.
Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Cool. And then we have no scheduled meetings between now and town meeting. But we will probably have a couple of more meetings after town meeting, for things like reserve fund transfers, end of year budget line transfers and stuff like that.
Yes, I may. I would like one right around town meeting, so either right before or right after, so we can get those cleaned up, so that I can figure out where we're gonna finish the year. So I'll touch base with you, Brian, on that once we sort of had a better understanding of what our numbers are gonna be.
Sounds good. Awesome. Anyone want to give me another motion?
I'll move we adjourn.
All right, I'll second that one. Tom,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Dan, for sticking it all the way up to the end. And thank you, John, for enjoying your first public hearing.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Good
Have a
night.
good night.